All right. Good morning, guys. I finished work a little bit ago, but I had some SAT prep and whatnot to take care of. So let's go over today's trade. So for one, we had news at 8:30, which is where this enormous candle came from. Which actually was much larger on MES. Yeah, if we look right here, this made us a very significant high before we catapulted to the downside. All right. Now let's move from here and let's understand exactly why I took the trade I did and where it happened. So, I, off the bat, was thinking we were going to be bullish. I thought we were going to go farther lower, which I'm in the Fearing Discord, and I'm one of his disciples, whatever it's called, lifetime disciples, I think. And he was saying in his pre-market analysis that he wanted to see us come down. And so I was agreeing with him. I made my analysis, then he came out with his, and I was like, okay, yeah, no, I agree with where we're coming from. And it did the exact opposite and went to the upside. So when it went to the upside, I was like, okay, that's unfortunate, but maybe we can catch shorts. And we took out news highs, so then I was less interested in taking a trade. And to go with that, we had some really unfortunate setups. If you look at the 1 hour here, we're not manipulating a whole lot that looks very good. This buy side liquidity exists on the 15-minute. This is something that I was just pulling together off the 15, not the 1 hour. And we didn't hit a order block CE, so I was feeling kind of meh as we were mitigating a 1 hour order block. Don't get me wrong, that was great. I loved it. But still kind of annoying because I would have rather seen a more obvious SMT with a high like this. But when we go to MNQ, we see that we are mitigating right here. I can't remember if we hit this or not. I was referring to this liquidity right here. I don't know if we hit this. I know it's a rejection block, but I've been calling it an EOB for way too long. No, we just missed it. Unfortunate. But I was referring to this buy side liquidity right here. This enters right into our order block, which is a similar situation to MES. But if we now go on to a lower time frame, the reason that I decided to take up, and also I felt more comfortable taking it because MYM, which I don't typically reference a whole lot, was making lower highs. Didn't even take out 830 news. So we had SSMTs and SMTs all over the place. So that was covered. So I felt more comfortable taking these trades. That's one. That's our big one. Two, if you look at MNQ and you look at MES, MES is closer to this 830 news, but MNQ is printing a lot nicer. And if you look at MNQ in comparison to something like this high, where is that high? Load. Okay, so this is that same high that I was quoting earlier, right here. And MNQ is just barely coming above it, while MES is a ways above it. We took it out with that 830 news, and now we're pushing above it, above yesterday's New York early, the opening minutes of New York, those highs. And MNQ is not quite pushing above those highs while still being pretty close to this high. So I wasn't going to trade MYM because I don't like entering on Dow, but sorry if you guys can hear that lawnmower in the background. There's landscaping happening on campus. But because of that, I wasn't going to enter on YM, so I had to choose between MES and MNQ. And MNQ seemed to be leading more to the downside than MES, and I liked how it was printing. If we go even lower and we look at the 1 minute in here where I was looking at my second entry, we'll talk about what happened in my first entry in the first quadrant of our window. But right here, if we compare this to right here, it looks way cleaner. This doesn't look very clean. We're making these higher highs pretty consistently, while MNQ is printing a lot cleaner, and it's not giving as much of like bearish or indecisive profile. So I was more interested in taking shorts on MNQ. That's what led me here. And upon getting and here, for second of all, we hit this buy side liquidity, which we respected really strongly, like literally by a wick. So I was feeling pretty strong about how this was going. So I felt pretty confident about that. Now, my first entry existed within this right here because we had, did we not have PSP? I thought we had PSP. I'm sure there's PSP. Yeah, there's PSP right here at the high. So that we were within PSP. Oh, wait, actually, no, I remember exactly what I entered on. It was this. We had PSP here. Let's move this over. I don't have PSP saved. Nice. This is PSP, which also turns this into an order block, which means we also have order block CE up here. And we have our rejection block right here, which I was comfortable entering on. So all of those things made me very comfortable to enter off of, and I got stopped out clearly. Second entry though was a little bit cleaner. We have this right here. I'm looking for an entry. We push a little higher. We take out the high, and then we immediately break to the downside, taking out this low, which then qualifies this right here, this section, as an EOB. This is what an actual EOB is. What I've been calling an EOB is actually a rejection block, and this is an EOB. I was miseducated, which is unfortunate. But we have PSP, EOB, order block. That's 3 already, so that's plenty to enter off of. You don't need any more than that. But you also have a mitigation block right here if you want this one, which I guess this is called a breaker. I forget what these are called. I think this is called a breaker. But breaker block right there. So anyways, there's a lot of things overlapping right there, but you did not need that breaker. That breaker was a little excessive. All you needed was the fact that you had a validated order block, so you could enter on the order block. You had a validated EOB, so you could enter on the EOB, and you had PSP in this whole area. Plus, we had turtle soup because we took out the buy side liquidity and then took out the original high that took out the buy side liquidity, meaning we had a turtle soup here, which made it a valid entry with 4 individual entry signals in confluences. So I entered on this. Get rid of this. I was a little late on this. I was late, even though this candle was valid. I actually entered on this candle in here and put my highs at, come on, there. And upon that, what are the 2 things? These were my take profits, but let's understand why. There's a 4-to-1 here, and the closest thing I have to a 4-to-1 is just this low, which made our first take profit. And then I was looking for a 6-to-1, which exists right in here. But I guess I could have taken the CE of this bullish fair value gap. But I was more interested in this because if you look at this, 1, that's over a 6-to-1, so that hits our risk to reward goal. But 2, let me get rid of this box. That was just a high time frame key level. If we look at this 930 level, something Fearing talks about that I haven't mentioned a whole lot is a devil's mark, which typically is on a higher time frame where we open and immediately go to the upside. But from what I've done in my back testing, lower time frame devil's marks also exist and are still valid. So when we have this lower time frame devil's mark at opening candle, it makes sense that we would return to it. So it didn't surprise me when my risk to reward lined up very well with this devil's mark, which then got taken out and we reversed. And I don't think we've taken out that low since then. Perfect. We called a beautiful level. And one thing, gorgeous order blocks. There's something so pleasant about watching order blocks be respected. That right there is a bullish order block, and let's see if CE got hit, and if so, how precisely, because that would be really nice. We just missed it. Anyways, still cool. I love order blocks. Makes me happy. Nice EOB right there. Anyways, yeah, those were our 2 take profits. And I know my reasoning was a little janky today. Oh, also we were above true opens. If we look at the true opens right here, we had true session open, true day open, true micro session opens down here, and true week opens right there. Yeah, but we were above all 4 true opens, and we had plenty of SSMTs right here. If we just turn this on real quick, you'll see all the SSMTs. But I know the reasoning today was a little confusing, but it's still consistent with how I like to trade. All the SSMTs. We had micro, 90-minute, all the good stuff. Yeah, so have a good one, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. See you guys.